back with old Pecan Homestead. I know it's been a while. We've been really busy at Thanksgiving and all that, and so we just haven't really got to make a video lately. But Dakota wanted to talk to y'all about some hay we picked up today.
Well, so the video is going to kind of be about drought and economic issues and wintering your animals. So don't do what we did and get behind before winter gets to you. So hay prices from our neighbor were a little higher than we were used to, like double what that hay typically would go for, and that was back in June. And we thought, well, surely we can find it better. We
actually had a deal worked out with our other neighbor. We thought we were going to get a really good deal on, but something ended up, I don't know what happened, which things happen. He's
not a full-time hay farmer, so he probably just was busy like everybody else, and he never really got around to putting up any hay.
We should have known better.
But irregardless, I mean, we should have been buying hay. So we actually found a deal which was about twice what we were paying for hay last year, and it's about the same quality of hay, but in most places right now you're paying about 150% increase on hay. Now some of that is a lot better quality than what we've got on the trailer right now, but we found, you know, we were able to get 6 bale, and we got it for $450 or $75 a bale, which is very expensive. But what we've been doing to make that hay go further is we've been feeding a 15% bulk feed from a Cantrell Ag in Prague, Oklahoma. It's been a very good quality feed so far, and this is our first year feeding bulk feed. I know it's probably higher this year if you're used to feeding it, but we paid about $200 for 1,000 pounds, so $400 a ton, and that comes out to be, you know, about $10 for a 50-pound sack, and most sacks are 40-pound sacks for $13 now if you go to the feed store. So it's really not a bad deal because you know the percentage of protein that you're feeding. Whereas the hay quality, even if you can find hay this year, it may be, you know, severely droughted hay. We've noticed some of the hay bales that we've cut open have, you know, the hay's only about 6 to 8 inches long, so it's kind of like chopped hay. The bales aren't staying together very well.
And the last couple bales that we bought were from the ditch.
Yeah, we've bought ditch hay this year with styrofoam cups in it, candy wrappers. We've bought hay that's had cedar trees in it, or blackberry thorns, where a third of your bale was actually blackberry thorns. And so when you look at this hay that we've got on the trailer for $75 a bale, it's not going to look like much, but you got to understand the year that we're in. And the whole point in this video is don't get yourself in a position where you're and we had to drive about an hour and 15 minutes one way to get this. So don't get yourself in that position to where you're chasing hay.
And borrow a trailer.
Get your hay I would say get your hay by July.
Yeah.
Because a lot of baling is going to happen in June and July. And if you can get in on the first batches, I mean, in a really good ideal year, your third cuttings, your prices are going to come down a little bit because they were able to get 3 cuttings and they're surplus hay. But don't hope for that. Just get it in June, July, get your hay. Don't wait till August, September, whenever people can really start to add up the drought and be able to leverage their prices, you know.
Yeah.
Because we could have got all of our hay for half even though it was higher, it would have saved us about 50% on hay this year if we would have just went ahead and got it.
Which was the plan all along. We had planned to buy hay early, and then the neighbor issue fell through, and we kind of blew off the other neighbors thinking we were going to get a better deal with him. And yeah, we should have at least bought a few from them, because we could have resold it if anything.
And then some of the things we've done other than the grain. Well, I didn't explain the grain. really. So how we've been making that hay go further with the grain was we've been only allowing the cattle and the goats to eat on the hay for about half a day, because we've got them pinned up right now because we overgrazed really bad. So we put the wheat down on the pasture. So we don't want the cows roaming the pasture, because there won't be any wheat to help rebuild soil so that the grass gets a good start in the spring. So we've got them pinned up and they're eating just excessive amounts. When you have them pinned up, they're bored. They're just like people. You put somebody in a house and you tell them they can't leave, they keep walking back to the refrigerator, opening it up.
We were literally going through a round bale in 5 days, 6 days, and
we've got it to about
I think tomorrow will be 2 weeks.
About 10 to 12 days. They're cleaning up the scraps right now. And another thing was, we had some scrap cattle panels laying around, some trimmings from when we built dog kennels, and the bottom of our hay ring was just, we were losing probably 25% of our round bale out the bottom of our hay ring. It was just falling out the holes on the bottom. The cows and goats would pee and poop on it and stomp it in the ground. And even if we were trying to pick it back up while it wasn't real nasty and put it in another feeder, but instead of having to pick it back up, we just put those cattle panels around the bottom of our hay bale feeder, our round bale feeder, and that seems to be helping a lot. Some round bale feeders have the sheet metal around the bottom, but if you don't, you may consider wrapping the bottom of your hay ring with something. But let's show them this this load of hay. We borrowed a trailer from a good friend of ours. We're thankful for that, because
we could only fit 3.
We could have got one more bale on this. 7 bales is the max you could get on this. And if these were a little bigger bales, it would still hold 7. These are a little on the light side. They weren't baled as tight as you'd like. But with the using the grain that we've got, we'll be able to make these last and get us a little ways down the road.
We had a heck of a time with these bales. The man that loaded them did not load them correctly. And that was part of the problem. Part of the problem is that these bales are so loose that they were not, they were flattening out a lot, and they were smashing down and twisting and turning. But these 2 bales were definitely too close to the end. Those are more centered. But we had these 2 bales here and here. We had brought in 3 ratchet straps, and we had to go. We actually went to Tractor Supply for one, and then we ended up stopping again at Lowe's just to make sure we got these home. But we had to move these 2 bales back just to get them level. And we made it. It was very rough at first. Almost lost a couple of the bales, but we're gonna get them unloaded over here, and then we'll take one out to the cows. And
this is Johnson grass mix hay. There's some Bermuda and I think some native grasses in here. But we've never had a problem with our cows eating Johnson grass. They may leave some of the bigger stems to the end, but when they're hungry, they'll eat it.
what are you doing, Otter? You want to be on camera? No, just kidding. Poodle's still here for now. Still haven't decided what we're gonna do with her. What are you doing, Peaches? Peaches! She looks funny right now because I cut her hair one day when she was wet around her eyes, but I need to finish it.
Probably gonna have
We don't have a hay bale spike yet for the tractor. So we either have to tie a chain around these bales or push them off manually. Whoops! I guess that's the one you can take to the cows.
Normally they're wrapped a little tighter so they roll better.
Yes, these are supposed to be 4x5, but they are very small.
It's not the greatest quality hay, but that's what you get when you don't buy it ahead of time. We really need to get our own baling stuff or something. I'd be ecstatic if my bales looked like that, because it'd be my work, but you're not so happy when you gotta buy them like this. All right.
Hey Tilly, we're trying to talk.
That's not feed. All right, so the other part of these economically hard times is you got to make some difficult decisions, like we just talked about with the cost of feed. One of our biggest feed bills is standing right here in front of us, and he's going to be going to the butcher here in a couple of weeks because he's just he's costing us. And right now we really don't need a bull. We don't have any cows that should be ready to breed, and we're thinking in the future we can just AI no more cows than we have. It's probably a lot more economical than keeping a bull year round, just to breed once every year and a half.
Especially with horns when he accidentally gets you in the tailbone.
Yeah, and we can pick, and like when we go to AI, we can pick the genetics, you know, like double polled. If we want to do Dexter, we can do double polled, so hopefully they won't throw horned calves. And our calf right now does have horns coming in, obviously, because the bull's horned, and the mother, we're not sure on the genetics, but she was probably dehorned. She could be. I mean, there are double polled Dexters, but anyways, and right now he's going to be mostly grass-fed beef, but he was a little underweight because of the drought, and so we've had him on about a bucket of that 15% grain mix. It's like grain alfalfa. Ow,
We'll show you in a minute.
She don't like the powder. She wants something solid. But we've had him on that. I'll go grab a bucket of that and take it out to the animals real quick, just so you can see it. And but anyways, and we really like the way the beef tasted. This is rice bran. If you don't know what rice bran is,
what did you
eat? Animals love it. It's 13% fat, 13% protein, and 13% fiber. So it's a pretty good feed. He's waiting on it, so I'm gonna put it in there, and then I'm gonna go grab another bucket of the corral.
There you go, boy.
But we really liked the way our beef tasted when we fed rice bran. So we figured the last couple weeks he's with us, we'll put a sack of rice bran on him. I don't know if you can really change the flavor of your beef or your fat content in the last couple weeks, but he'll eat good anyways.
The rice bran and that cottonseed, but cottonseed's up. We were paying $10 a sack last year. Now it's up to $20 a sack.
Yeah, if we do cottonseed again, we're gonna have to find a better source. But it actually helps you feed this rice bran, because as you can see, it's a powder. And I've done a video on this in the past. That powder dries their mouth out. He may not eat all this in one sitting because his water's not right next to him. But it dries their mouth out. And that cottonseed, when you mix it with the cottonseed, it binds with the fiber. And makes it a little easier to feed it. But I'm going to go get a bucket of this 15% grain mix so you can see that. And we'll go out and show the corral off and how we've been managing the hay with the feed.
Good afternoon. There's not a whole lot left in here.
All right, so this is a lot better quality hay. This is the Louisiana
We hear you,
Bahia hay
Blackjack.
that we bought, and I think it was supposed to be $125 a bale. I think he felt bad for me because I could only afford one bale. So he told me 100.
Poor man's discount.
But those are ridiculous prices. This is a lot better hay, but we got it a lot cheaper. So basically, we got that hay out there about $50 cheaper. And really, all it's to do, all you really need it for, is when you feed a lot of grain. Normally, we feed about a 5-gallon bucket to all of them. But when you feed grain, you need the hay in the rumen, because these animals really aren't supposed to eat this much grain. But
This is the mix. I think we showed you yet.
so there's a lot of like millings and corn, and then there's some kind of sweet feed, maybe some, I don't know if that's like corn gluten or what, but alfalfa type looking pellets and stuff like that. But you really need hay if you're going to feed grain. It's kind of rough on them feed just all grain. Anyways, off the hay for half the day. This is letting them back onto the hay.
They don't care about the hay when you got feed in your hand.
We've been throwing it out on there like that and filling pails and stuff, but usually, like I said, it's a 5-gallon bucket, not a 1-gallon pail. So usually there's more to go around. This is just a bonus for them right now.
Think you got kicked out, Burris.
There's the baby Dexter. She's a little rambunctious. We need to get her tamed down a little. Ah, Peaches! Peaches!
No!
Quit. And we've got this stock tank. We're really undersized on stock tanks, but once we get that big black one going.
Now y'all can see her. I don't know if I mentioned before, but we decided to name her Clarabelle after the one that we lost. So this is Clarabelle, Clara for short.
Oh, sorry, I didn't have your face in there.
This is Miss Clara. She's beautiful. Aren't you?
She needs to be tamed down. The kids need to get her out here and get her on a halter or something, because these Dexter are dual purpose. They are supposed to have really good milk quality, and a lot of them are supposed to be that A2 milk that everybody is crazy about, some kind of digestible protein or something. But yeah, she's a little more brown than I thought she would be. I mean, her mama is for sure a Dexter. I mean, if I ever seen a Dexter, she's a Dexter, and Atlas is for sure a Dexter. So.
They have red Dexter.
But
maybe one of their parents is red. I don't know. Why are you so scared? Come here.
But
I didn't have calves, so I couldn't kiss them.
she's got to learn to be a little more friendly, because, like I said, we're probably gonna, in her future, you know, a year and a half from now, she'll be bred, and it's probably. That may line up. I may not breed our other cows until she's ready, but that may be too long. But anyway, so she'll be bred eventually. Bailey's out. She's out running around. She should be having piglets too. There's a lot of things that we haven't talked about in a while.
Yeah, been a little bit busy. Been a little bit.
And this is one. So right here, this is an example of one of the problems with having goats around a round bale feeder. They like to climb in there and poop and pee in it all.
Yep, they're out of feed now, and now they're all running.
But they ran out of grain over there, so now they're coming to eat some hay. But we found that holding them off of that hay, like we said, for half the day is really prolonged the hay. It's going to be really key with these lower quality bales we got. But I think Blackjack was probably the one that was hurting the worst from the drought and the lack of forage on the pasture. But after being in the corral with hay and feed, She's fattening back up pretty good, looking healthy. You know, and you got to think Jemima, the Dexter right there, she's nursing that calf, so she's not looking bad for having to. That calf's probably twice the size of when it was born. Which right now that's one of the things with Dexters is they throw small calves, and she's probably about the size of some of the newborn calves out of the bigger beef breeds. And how old is she now?
Oh, I can't remember the day she was born. I'll have to go back and look.
She's about a month and a half.
Or was it October?
I think it was October.
Me too.
But I think she's about a month and a half old.
It was in October 20-something.
But this is going to be so Blackjack is Angus. We've probably talked about it before, but we're kind of excited to see a Dexter Angus cross, which she should be bred to my Dexter bull. I couldn't see why she wouldn't be, because she hasn't been in heat in at least the last 7 or 8 months that we know of. And Lil Ann, I'm 99% sure she hasn't gone into heat, so she's probably not bred, but in the future, I'm really excited to cross her with a Dexter. And maybe
with a red Dexter.
Yeah, maybe throw a little white-faced calf, little panda calf maybe. Those panda calves, of course, we'd probably keep it. Maybe if it were a bull, we might sell it, because they bring good money at the auction. If it was a heifer, I'd keep her.
What are you doing?
Gandalf's about the perfect, about exactly what you'd want in a billy goat. He's not too in your face, but if you call him, he'll come running. You pet him for a second, you look him over, make sure he's healthy, and then he does that, walks away.
What are you doing, girlie?
This one's mean to other animals, but he's really good to people. I've never had him be mean to me. Hey! Like I said, that was kind of her fault, because she was screaming because her head was stuck in the fence.
You're alright. Harvey, that was rude.
But he'll be going.
Hey, girlie. Soon. He's been listed. I need to relist him, actually.
We'll be selling him. I hate to take him to an auction because you don't know what you're going to get, and he's really a good billy goat. I mean, he thinks maybe she's in heat or something.
He's been chasing her forever.
She's not hurt. She just got her head stuck in the fence. That's what scared her the most. But they won't get another hay bale until this is cleaned up. This is what we were talking about, putting a panel around the bottom. That's helped a ton. I mean, you can still see we've probably got about 10% wastage. But the pigs, they like to come over. You know, pigs are pigs. They're kind of nasty animals, so they'll come over here and eat on some of the waste from the cows and goats that has grain in it. But like this right here, he's doing it right now. He's looking that over. Anyways, so
I guess that's all for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next video.